Hi everybody, today on Flavors, we're in Samantha's home. Our guest chef will be making us some red velvet cupcakes with the buttercream topping, and while they're baking, a nice Korean soup to add some cultural flavor to today's show. Today's show is brought to you by Salon Le Fric C'est Chic, Loft Uniforms, Villa Ravioli Pasta, Restaurant Thalassa, and Restaurant Table 51. Don't miss their official terrace opening on June 27th. Hi everybody, today on Flavors we will be making some wonderful red velvet cupcakes with buttercream frosting, and here to help us do that is our guest chef, Samantha. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Thank you for welcoming us in your home
No
today
problem.
and making something that you're very comfortable with, because you told me on the phone when we spoke that you actually bake these for some of your students at times, right?
All the time.
So how much do you like baking?
I actually really do. My friend turned me on to it a few years ago, and since then, that's pretty much one of my hobbies.
Yeah, right? So that's great. Red velvet cupcakes is a great choice. I think that you make them in different ways. I think normally they're made with, I think a cream cheese frosting normally,
Most
no?
of the time, yes, but I
Okay.
don't like it that way.
No, huh?
No.
So you've opted for the buttercream, which sounds just delicious to
My friend
guess.
actually, who introduced me to making red velvet cupcakes, told me to try them like that,
Okay.
and I fell in love, so,
So you
I've
have
been
a lot
making
of
them all
fans.
the time. Yes.
All right, well, great. Let's get to it then and see what ingredients we need to make these wonderful cupcakes.
Absolutely.
What will we use to make these cupcakes?
So we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar, half a cup of buttermilk, 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of red food coloring.
You need the red food coloring to
Otherwise it
achieve
doesn't
that,
turn red.
Yeah, that's right.
You can use another color if you want, but then they're just green velvet cupcakes instead. 1 1/4 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon of regular white vinegar,
Yes.
1 egg, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and half a teaspoon of salt.
Okay, I think we got that. Everything's nicely organized here, so I think it'll make our job even simpler and get to the result even quicker.
Pretty much.
So let's go ahead.
All right, so the first thing we need to, we're adding all of our dry ingredients to our main bowl. The sugar is already in the bowl, so we're gonna add the flour next. Go for it. The salt. Cocoa powder.
Very common step to start off with the dry ingredients in baking,
Yep.
huh?
Pretty much, you have to combine everything. This is the baking soda,
Baking soda, yeah.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay. we're
Our
gonna mix
dry
that.
ingredients. Yep. So we're just gonna take, I like using a fork, and we mix everything in together so that it becomes even. One of the things I discovered when I started making these is if you don't combine all of the dry ingredients, your red velvet cupcakes actually don't turn red. They
Oh
turn
my.
this weird dark brown color,
Really?
which is very unattractive.
Oh, you know what I don't like about that? It's if you feel like you're gonna have something chocolatey and then you bite into it and it doesn't taste like chocolate, so it's a bit of a disappointment. But then you get a nice little surprise because you see that.
Well,
it's
a lot of people
red
don't know
velvet.
that red velvet actually has chocolate in it.
Right, yeah. It does have. I knew that, but most people don't because of the color, which it's the food coloring that does that. But
All right, so that's done. Okay, so now we're gonna combine all of our wet ingredients into another bowl.
another bowl.
Yep.
So there's no actual raspberry or cranberry or something like that. The
No.
coloring has those flavors, I guess, or
Well, the reason why, from what I remembered reading about red velvet cupcakes, is that they turned red because before the cocoa that bakers used to use was unrefined. So it would turn the cupcakes red because of the cocoa.
I see.
And
okay.
because we have now refined cocoa,
the color
we
is
have to add in
obviously-
the coloring.
That's right. Okay, to keep that look. Thank
Exactly.
you for that clarification.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the buttermilk. And the vegetable oil. And we're gonna crack the egg. My least favorite part. I can never crack an egg with one hand.
You keep practicing.
Yeah,
On
but
your
it
spare
doesn't
time?
work well. Okay, and then we whisk everything together.
Go ahead. Oh joy.
All right.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna add our vinegar.
Why do we put vinegar in there?
The reason why we
Instead
use
of
vinegar is because in our dry ingredients we have baking soda,
Okay.
and that's what's gonna help the cupcakes rise
Oh, I see. Okay.
instead of using yeast or another
Okay.
ingredient like that.
So vinegar it is.
Yeah, you don't need vinegar.
No, just a little bit, right? You probably could even use cider vinegar. Or
I don't know. I've never tried.
No? I read that a lot in certain recipes, dessert recipes.
Yeah, most of the time for the buttermilk, which I don't have on hand, and I don't like letting it go bad if I don't make a lot of cupcakes, you actually use milk with a bit of vinegar in it,
Oh, I see.
and
Good.
that substitutes.
Buttermilk, right?
Yeah. And then we're adding our vanilla extract. And again, we're just gonna whisk it in. And last thing is our red food coloring, the fun part.
Yes. I'll whisk as you go,
Yeah.
just to make a nice design. There we
Yeah,
go.
super nice. Important thing now is to slowly add our dry ingredients in. As I said before, if we had simply added each ingredient individually into this, it wouldn't have turned out red, it would have turned out brown.
Right.
So, I'm just gonna take
have
one
to
of
do
our
it.
old containers for our ingredients, and we're just going to add in slowly but surely and whisk as we go.
Should we put this on that side, or it's okay, Nasser? I guess it's okay.
Keep that in.
Or I can be poor. I can.
Yeah, if you want. And as we're adding it in, it's getting thicker, so that's how you know it's good. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. A little pinker too.
Yeah. Well, as before, it was like much brighter, and now it looks a lot more raspberry.
As I go, they get bigger, so yeah, I'm trying to get there faster.
So we're done mixing all of our ingredients together. So now we're gonna put them in the pan, and then we're gonna bake them.
Which has already been sprayed, right?
Yeah,
They were
I
oiled.
don't really like using cupcake liners that much because one of my students ate them by accident
Oh
once.
my.
So
You know, it's always been a question for me, to use or not to use a liner, because
Yeah.
sometimes you see in a picture in a magazine it looks perfect, and then you're like, oh, it's a liner. Then sometimes you go somewhere, you eat one, there's no liner.
Yeah.
And it's tough to take them out sometimes, and then you lose some of the cake.
yeah,
No?
exactly.
So if you butter this well, I guess there shouldn't be any danger in
Exactly.
losing any of the cake. It's sticking onto the
Basically, as long as you don't burn it, you're fine.
Okay, let's hope we don't burn it.
Oh, yeah. So
Okay.
we're gonna scoop them in.
Put
I
in-
like using the 2 spoons. It
Two
makes it so
spoons.
that there's less mess.
Yes, I always get some all over these, but
Yeah, and it's better to like even them out and stuff. If there's too much in one compared to another, and then they don't bake evenly and stuff. This is from many months of practice. You burn a few too many cupcakes, your students get sad, and then you learn to be better.
right. But this you would say is your favorite dessert, no? Or one
Actually,
that you like
no.
making? Oh no! What
It's
is-
the one that I like making the most.
Okay.
Just because like I like eating them as well and stuff, and it's like a really big hit with my students. But my favorite dessert is one my grandmother makes, actually.
Which would be?
It's a Slovenian dessert called, well, she calls it honey cake. I don't really think it's called honey cake, but it's something that takes like so many days to make. And she
Oh,
hasn't
it's a
taught me
process.
how to do it yet. She just like whips
Secret
it out every
recipe.
so often
Oh wow.
as like a. All right, so we're pretty much done. Just
Looks
getting
good.
the last few bits in, and that's it.
Perfect.
So all we have to do is put them in the oven now.
I think you probably could put the same batter in one other kind of shape and make a whole red velvet cake
Absolutely.
with the same ingredients, right?
Yeah, the only thing that's going to change is just the amount of time that you leave it in the oven for.
In the oven. Perfect.
So 15 minutes.
15 minutes, and what temperature?
350.
Later on Flavors, we were at Montreal's Beer Festival. Samantha, before we get to the soup, I want to know what it's called.
Sundubu jjigae.
Sundubu jjigae. Samantha is going to make
Hi.
it for us because you're experienced in this domain, right? You studied in Korea.
No, I actually visited.
You visited Korea.
I
Was
was-
this for leisure? It was
Yes.
not for, okay. I thought you studied. It sounded so much more, serious.
No.
But it's okay. So you were in Korea and
Yep.
for a while? Was it a long time?
1 week, actually.
Oh.
I stayed in Seoul for a week when I finished university.
When you finished university, you went to Korea for 1 week and you
Yeah.
picked up recipes right away? or-
Well, actually,
What was the
when I
inspiration
was
for this?
when I was in university, my friend and I had a really bad day at school, and we decided to go eat some Korean food.
Okay.
And we kind of just picked something off the menu, and I actually picked this, and it was so delicious that
Yes.
when I eventually decided to go to Korea, I said I have to go and eat like the most delicious sundubu jjigae when I get there.
Jjigae, I was going to say that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. It seems that it's something that's pretty, there's a lot of ingredients inside, so it's going to be flavorful.
Yes.
Let us talk about the ingredients. What
Perfect.
exactly do we need to make sundubu jjigae?
All right, so we need tofu, obviously. This is soft tofu that's in tubes, so it's like liquidy a little bit. We also have a different kind of tofu because I really like tofu.
Where do you get them?
This I actually got in Chinatown.
Okay.
And this one you can get at any run-of-the-mill grocery store.
2 kinds of tofu?
Yeah. So we have oyster sauce, beef flank,
How
which
much?
is cut up. It's about like 1 cup,
Okay,
I would
yeah.
say.
To your liking, I'm assuming.
I like beef.
All right, that's good.
2 tablespoons of red pepper flakes. That's what's going to add a lot of the flavor to the soup, and it's a little bit spicy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common in these dishes, right?
Yeah, they put that on almost everything.
Okay.
2 cups of chicken stock.
All right. The chicken stock, you just, for our purposes, you got a ready one, right?
Yes.
But normally, would you be able to make your own chicken stock?
Yes, my grandma's secret recipe.
Oh, what kind of ingredients would we find in one?
Regular
this
chicken
recipe?
stock?
Well, for a Korean soup.
Korean soup stock usually has anchovies, a little bit of garlic, kelp, which is a form of seaweed,
Okay.
and shiitake mushrooms, which is the next ingredient.
I love the mushrooms. That's
Yeah.
great.
About 1 cup. You try and proportion it to the meat.
Okay.
1 cup of seafood. I picked shrimp, and 2 green onions chopped.
Oh, that's looking good. So, since the oil is sizzling now, and you can see that it's ready by testing one of them,
Yep.
we're gonna put all the meat in there.
Exactly. Ooh, won't come out.
Okay. Are we letting it cook for a while?
Yeah,
Or-
just a little bit. We're gonna let it brown, and then we're gonna add in the mushrooms when it's almost done cooking.
We're making a soup for how many? Is it
Um,
for 2, you would say? Or
Maybe.
individual?
I can eat it by myself.
Okay.
Over 2 sittings usually.
Yeah, you can eat it alone too if it's your meal,
Yeah.
right, of the day or the evening, your supper.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. And it depends. Most Koreans, when they eat this dish, they actually have a bowl of rice with it. That they have a very small amount of soup, a lot of broth, and they put the rice with the soup. So the rice absorbs all of the broth, and they eat it like that. So
That's interesting. That's nice.
yeah, that's how I usually eat it. I have no rice though. Okay, so mushrooms.
Mushroom time.
Yeah.
Should I just dump it in there?
Yeah, if you want, go for
Ready?
it.
All of them, right?
Yep. Put that back.
So your origin is
Slovenian.
Slovenian. Do you make any Slovenian dishes?
Yes. A lot of the times I'll make a dish and use like Slovenian spices with it, like for chicken.
Okay.
There's one that I make with my grandmother and another one that I make with my mom. My favorite soup actually is not this one. It's a Slovenian soup called Nuklica soup.
Oh, I'm not gonna even go there. Nukushu?
Nuklica.
Nuklicha.
Yeah, and it's basically like cornmeal dumplings and chicken broth.
Oh, nice.
Super
okay.
delicious.
But it's interesting. What I like about this show is that you can be from one ethnic background and you're learning how to make something completely different, cultural, and it works well together.
Yeah.
It's an educational show, I would say, because you can learn all sorts of dishes from all sorts of cultures.
Yep. Okay, red pepper flakes.
Red pepper.
That's
here
the
it
red
is.
stuff.
Yes.
The reds. So this is what's gonna add spice to everything. Now that it's almost cooked,
Wow. That's pretty.
it's gonna start smelling spicy soon.
The chicken stock now. Yum, yum. It's looking awesome.
This is pre-cooked, so no issues. So it's starting to boil, so tofu time. So it's boiling, we can add the oyster sauce.
Oyster sauce it is.
Yeah.
Delish.
Yeah, thick goopy stuff. Okay.
So the moment of truth, let's give this thing a taste. Wow,
Yeah.
definitely a taste of Korean. I would definitely try to make this soup at home. It's
Yeah, it's
great.
super easy.
What a wonderful, nice, cozy, soup to have. It's very, very, very good. Nice and spicy, just right. Definitely a taste of Korean. To finish off the cupcakes, for sure, we need to make a nice frosting.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're gonna do. And what are we using to make this?
So we're making buttercream frosting, so we need butter.
It's a half a cup, I see.
Yeah,
Stick?
1 stick, half a cup.
Sure.
We need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 cup of milk, and it's about 2.5 to 3 cups of icing sugar, but
You'll judge as
you
go
judge
along.
depending on how things are going.
Well, let's get to it. Let's blend. Let's
Ooh.
see.
And we're done.
Nice.
Oh yeah, perfect.
It's a perfect texture.
Yep.
Great.
I just use a spoon. I'm not fancy.
So there you have it. Samantha's homemade red velvet cupcakes with buttermilk or buttercream.
Buttercream.
Frosting. It's time to put them to the taste. Shall I?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm excited. Here we go. Thumbs up, Samantha.
Thank you.
Really sweet, really nice. Good job. Lightly crispy on the outside, yet nice and moist on the inside. And I like the butter cream frosting as opposed to a cream cheese frosting.
Yeah,
You
it's
did a
lighter.
Great job. Excellent. So Samantha, I would like to thank you very much
Oh,
for
you're
being
very welcome.
on our show and showing us how to make this lovely dish. I definitely recommend it with everybody. So thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on Flavors. Bye! Flavors is at the Montreal Beer Festival and it is awesome. That's good beer.
It is,
Yes.
definitely.
Montreal's Beer Festival. Flavors is right here, right now, and we're speaking with the organizer, the president of the organizer of the event. And this is Miss Janine Marois, who's doing an excellent job this year once again. I know now. Welcome to Flavors.
Thank you.
I know that this event has been taking place since 1994. Is that right?
That's right.
Were you there from the beginning?
Absolutely, I'm co-founder. In 1994, there was about 10 microbrewery in Quebec, and now there is over 100. especially in the fact that we are very international. So we are probably the biggest one in North America with international beer. We have over 500 beer, and there is over 260 that are totally new on site. Well, this is Sunday, so maybe today there is a few that are gone.
Well, I must say that in this environment here at the Palais de Congrès, inside as well as outside, you guys have a big selection of areas and kiosks you can visit, as well as 15 different food kiosks, which are of a main interest to us, right? That's really, really
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I said like this is a good year because there are a lot of new food exhibitor too. You have Latino food, you know, like Parisian food, and so it's
some game meat.
Try it. Yeah, sure. We have a very nice area where people can sit, 50 people can sit and learn how to cook beer with Big Chef from very nice restaurant. And this is EJR, that is our partner in this cooking area. And they organize 15 different cooking
Cheeses.
and also 10 cheeses with the Fédération Producteurs de lait du Québec. So it's a great area to have discover how to appreciate beer and food.
Make a mental note for next year, and in the meantime you might want to visit their wonderful website, which is festivalmondialbière.qc.ca, where you're going to find some great ideas about where to go have a beer around the city. And something that we appreciate here at Flavors a lot, it's some beer recipes that you can check out on this website. Thank you. But I would recommend right now, other than thanking you for bringing us, Janine, with us, Janine, I think you guys should probably go have a beer right about now.
Good idea.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good.
This one is a Kuka American IPA. This is from a brewery from the United States, which is Andine Brewing Company. And IPA mean this beer is a bit more hoppy. It is India Pale Ale. And American, meaning, you know, mostly American are always a bit more hoppy. They use maca root in the beer. Maca root is supposed to be aphrodisiac. I don't know if it's true, but
Let's just go ahead and zoom in right here for all those who are feeling the summer feeling, the heat.
Absolutely. This is a chocolate stout, so there is not necessarily chocolate in it, but in this case there is. The other one we have here is a double bastard ale coming from United States and this is from the West Coast, and this is from a very well-known brewery, which is called Stone Brewing Company. And right here you have a Quebec beer, which is a very interesting small brewery, Le Castor. This is a beer that you can pair with many good things, like example, they say barbecue or, you know, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Montreal Beer Fest. Cheers!
Hot stuff, hot stuff. Hey, Voyageur, let's see what it is. There's cheese in here, il y a du fromage.
Cheese and bacon. Cheese and bacon.
That's good. I asked, how do you get the cheese in there? They're like, ask the butcher. I'm not complaining. Delicious. Ooh-wee. Delicious.
Nice and sweet to be enjoyed, not to be shot back.
And as you said here, Marcel with us today, only 20% alcohol.
Only 20% alcohol.
Oh my goodness.
We try and, in all our products, we try and find the right balance with taste, sweetness, alcohol content. We're not looking to make things that are just to be shot back and forgotten about. We want these things to be remembered and enjoyed.
We're at Miel Nature right now.
That's right, Miel Nature. We've been a honey producer for over 30 years. We've been making honey wines and derivatives for about 25 years now. We're southwest of Montreal, Melageville, just south of Valleyfield, and we're open year-round at the Honey Factory. Well, we think we're a nice complement to the beer that's here today. Basically, what we make is mead, which is a wine based off honey. We have some originals, which is, for example, La Fraîcheur. This is a classic mead. It dates back to the time of Egyptians. They were the first to combine water and honey and ferment it. So it's just water, honey, a bit of fermentation. It makes a sweet and light product. We have it with whiskey. We have with Caribbean rum. Makes for a nice honey rum, so to speak. We make 3 different products that are made of or similar to ice ciders or ice wines. So the fermentation is done outside during the winter in an oak cask covered in snow. We have products that resemble brandies made with maple syrup. Products that resemble port with blueberries and a touch of maple syrup.
Oh, sounds delicious.
Well, we try and stick with the real Canadian or Quebec ingredients. It's real blueberries, real maple syrup. There's no simulated flavors. There's no juices, there's no chemicals. You can find all of our products online at our website at Miel Nature. Our honey factory is open year-round, and certain SAQs will carry our products, the smart ones will carry our products. Aside from that, you can come to different festivals like this one today. In the month of August, there's going to be the Festival à Chambly, le Festival de la bière de Chambly, and at the holiday season at the Casse-Noisette and the Salon des Métiers d'Art.
Beautiful.
On invitation basis only.
We'll be expecting that.
We're always invited.
Thank you very much, Marcel. Good job. This is great, and
Well, my
look
pleasure.
forward to trying more of your products soon.
Well, thank you for having us, and do come down and enjoy.
Next week on Flavors.
It's cool, it's trendy, it's delicious food. It's Table 51.
Also on Flavors next week, in an old Montreal apartment, we're getting a taste of Lebanon. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, Flavors TV.